Once again, good day everyone, especially to my B.Ed students for the course on teaching good manners and right conduct in the elementary grades. For today's session, we will going to tackle the content of Lesson 4, Understanding the Outcomes of Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. Let's get started. After completing this lesson, you are expected to identify the intended and expected outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao as a subject. Second, discover the meaning of the different 21st century skills. The third intended learning outcome is to understand the importance of harmonizing the outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao to the 4 pillars of education. And lastly, to analyze the connectedness of the 21st century skills and the 4 pillars of education. Let's start with the first topic. Understanding the outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Effective teaching of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao begins with a clear understanding of the expected outcomes. We begin by focusing on the intended and expected outcomes of the subject matter. The K-12 curriculum guide for edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, ang tunguhin o outcome ng pag-aaral sa batayang edukasyon ay ang panlahatang pag-unlad, taglay ang mga kasanayan sa ika-21 siglo. Taglay ito ng isang mag-aaral kung mayroon siyang mga kakayahang pangkaalaman, pandamdamin at pangkaasalan na magbibigay sa kanya ng kakayahang upang, una, mamuhay at magtrabaho. Pangalawa, malinang ang kanyang mga potensyal. Ikatlo, magpasya ng mapanuri at batay sa impormasyon. At ikaapat, makakilos ng epektibo sa lipunan at pamayanan sa konteksto ng sandaigdigan upang mapabuti ang uri ng kanyang pamumuhay at ang kanyang lipunan. Ibinatay ang kahulugan at ang 5 palatandaan nito sa 4 na batayan o pillar ng edukasyon na isang konsepto ng UNESCO tungkol sa mga panghabang buhay na kakayahan or life skills na binuo ng International Commission on Education para sa ika-21 siglo. Ang sumusunod ay ang 5 palatandaan nito. Una, may kakayahang makipagtalastasan. Kalawa, nag-iisip ng mapanuri at may kakayahang lumutas ng suliranin. Pangatlo, ginagamit ang mga likas na yaman ng mapanagutan para sa susunod na salinlahi. At pang-apat, produktibo, nagpapaunlad ng sarili at ang pakikipagkapwa. At ang panghuli, may malawak na pananaw sa daigdig. The supposed outcome of learning based on the paragraph that we just have underscored can be summarized as the student's journey towards becoming a good citizen in this country. In this regard, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao plays a vital role in the development of a person so that they could contribute to the progress of the society. The teaching of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao then has cognitive, psychomotor, and affective dimensions. It begins with the student's understanding of the concept of responsibility to himself, his family, his fellow men, his country, the world, and of God that lead to decision-making and responsible action. Upon learning these lessons, you are to gear towards becoming well-functioning members of the society. In addition, by acquiring the necessary 21st century skills, students may develop a holistic ability to realize and to utilize their potentials to the fullest and plan their present and future action following their abilities, interests, and needs. Let's now proceed. Acquiring the 21st century skills. We have to note that all issues, concerns, problems in life are value-laden. Our learners must be equipped with a sound value system that can serve as blueprints through which learners view life. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao facilitates students to acquire the science or necessary skills of functional literacy, which help them decide and to act toward common good with accountability. This is in harmony with the goal of DepEd. That is to provide and promote values education at all levels of the educational system for the development of the human person committed to the building of a just and a humane society and an independent and democratic nations. Hence, the goal of education is to develop learners holistically by equipping them with the so-called 21st century skills. So what are the 21st century skills? These refer to the abilities that students of today need in order to succeed in their careers, particularly in this information age. These skills are intended to help students keep up with the lightning pace of today's modern market. Each skill is unique in how it helps students. And these are the examples of these 21st century skills. We have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy, flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. We have to take note that those skills I have just mentioned a while ago could be categorized into three categories, namely learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Let's dig deeper on these three categories of the 21st century skills. The first category is the learning skills. Learning skills teaches students about the mental processes required to adapt and improve upon a modern work environment. Literacy skills, on the other hand, focuses on how students can discern facts, publishing outlets, and the technology behind them. It is about determining trustworthy sources and information to separate it from the misinformation that floods the internet. Well, the third category is life skills. It will look at the intangible elements of a student's everyday life. These intangibles focus on both personal and professional qualities. Now the question, which of these different categories will edukasyon sa pagpapakatao highlights? Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao intends primarily to promote the third category, which is life skill. Take note of that. Building life skills is essential. It's an exercise that helps our students develop sound judgment and good habits for long-term stability, wellness, and success. In everyday life, the development of life skills helps students to, first, find new ways of thinking and problem solving. Second, recognize the impact of their actions and teaches them to take responsibility for what they do rather than blame others. Third, build confidence both in spoken skills and for group collaboration and cooperation. Fourth, analyze options, make decisions, and understand why they make certain choices outside the classroom. And lastly, develop a greater sense of self-awareness and appreciation for others. Let's now move to the next topic, and that is understanding edukasyon sa pagpapakatao as a response to the 4 pillars of education. The outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao are again anchored on the 4 pillars of education by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. UNESCO's Education for Sustainable Development Initiative presented a conceptual framework for ongoing and lifelong learning. In a continually changing environment, life skills are essentially met by different challenges. The development of life skills allows students to deal with significant life changes and problems successfully, and to develop one's responsibility in school, in their community, and in the society as a whole. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao aims students to make a positive contribution to the society by gaining the experience and developing their potentials needed to understand an ever-changing world. This model organizes learning into the 4 pillars of education. The first pillar is learning to be. This learning contributes to a person's mind, body, and spirit. Skills include creativity, personal discovery, acquired through reading, the internet, and activities such as sports and arts. The aim of development is the complete fulfillment of man and his development in a holistic way as an individual member of the society and as a responsible citizen. Second pillar is learning to know. Learning to know implies learning how to learn by developing one's concentration, memory skills, and ability to think. The development of skills and knowledge needed to function in this world, such as formal acquisition of literacy, numeracy, critical thinking, and general knowledge. The third pillar is learning to do. The acquisition of applied skills linked to professional success. Learning must transform certified skills into personal competence. It is assessed by looking at a mix of skills and talents, social behavior, personal initiative, and willingness to work. Employers often refer to these as interpersonal skills or people skills. Knowledge along with other qualities like communication, team building, and problem-solving skills is most demanded by the service sector these days. Lastly, learning to live together, it's the development of social skills, values, such as respect and concern for others, and the appreciation also of the cultural diversity. Education should help in inculcating a spirit of empathy in students so that it can have a positive effect on their social behavior throughout their lives. Understanding each other, resolving conflicts through dialogue and discussion should be the essential tools of present-day education. To sum it up, in achieving the outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, there is a great need to develop a broadened vision of educational goals. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao facilitates holistic approaches to reorganizing educational contents and eventually in building national capacity in developing key competencies required of all learners through proper understanding of the curriculum as it meets the demands and challenges of the society in the 21st century. So now, let us try to deepen what we have learned from this topic on understanding the outcomes of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao by answering these two questions. First question, why edukasyon sa pagpapakatao intends primarily to promote the third category of the 21st century skill, which is the life skills? Second, why is it important to see the connection between the 21st century skill and the 4 pillars of education? So these are the two questions, reflective questions that you need to answer to determine and assess the level of your understanding on this particular lesson. You're going to submit your answer through the link again that I will be providing you via our Google Classroom. But just remember to minimize your answer for each question from 5 to 10 sentences only. So that would be all for now. Thank you, and let's meet again for the next lesson. Thank you and have a nice day.